Namaskar, ma'am. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Priya.
Ma'am, we'll be starting in just 5 minutes.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the second day of our online lecture series on forensic science, beyond boundaries, innovation, research, and justice, organized by the Department of Forensic Science, School of Liberal Arts and Sciences, Modi University of Science and Technology, Lakshmangarh, Rajasthan, from 10th to 14th July 2026. It is wonderful to see all of you joining us with us once again with the same enthusiasm and passion for learning. Yesterday's session laid a strong foundation by introducing important concepts and practical perspectives in forensic science. Today, we move one step further as we explore another fascinating domain that continues to transform forensic investigation and criminal justice. It is my privilege to introduce our first esteemed speaker for today's session, Dr. Shalu Malik, Deputy Director, Toxicology and in charge Additional Director at the Regional Forensic Science Laboratory, Jodhpur. Dr. Malik is a distinguished forensic toxicologist with 27 years of professional experience in forensic science. She holds a master's in chemistry, gold medalist, a PhD in chemistry from Jain Narayan Vyas University, Jodhpur. Throughout her illustrious career, she has analyzed over 22,000 criminal cases involving poison detection and has played a significant role in establishing the cause of death in numerous medical legal investigations. An accomplished academic and researcher, Dr. Malik has published more than 50 research papers, received several prestigious awards, and a commendation, served as a reviewer, examiner, and scientific committee member. Police officers, judicial officers, and forensic science students across the country. Her expertise spans forensic toxicology, crime management, and the application of advanced analytical techniques in forensic investigation. Today, she will be delivering an insightful lecture on forensic toxicology. Dear participant, please join me in extending a warm and cordial welcome to Dr. Shalom Malik. This platform is yours, ma'am.
Thank you, Vaishnavi, for appreciating words. And thank you, organizers, Modi University, for giving me this opportunity to talk about forensic toxicology with your students. Let's start. Shall I share the screen with you? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let's start with forensic toxicology. Um, Toxicology, as we all know, it has come from the Greek word toxican. It means the poisonous substance used to dip arrowheads during ancient times. That has come from toxican, and from that word toxicology has come from. And basically, toxicology is the science of poison. That means anything about poison, that includes fate of poison when it enters the body, signs and symptoms of poison, chemical nature of the poison, and then after ingestion, uh, what effects poison cause on the body, as well as how to again extract and detect that poison. So that all comes under toxicology. And what is poison? Poison is any substance which is harmful for our body, which is when administered in small quantities, it is capable of producing the deleterious effect, that means harmful effect on the body. So common salt can also act as poison if it is taken in large quantity. So poison is anything which cause harm to the body. So why we are studying, why we are doing forensic toxicological examination? What is the significance of the toxicological examination in the forensic labs? First of all, whenever there is a case of sudden death or suspicious death, in those cases, how that death has occurred, what is the cause of death. Yesterday the person was healthy and fit, and today a news comes that a person has died. So what is basically the cause of death, how he has died? For those reasons, the post-mortem is done, and after post-mortem the sample is sent to the toxicology laboratory. So this is a case on the right side. Sadhvi Prem Baisa, she was Sadhvi here in Jodhpur and died suddenly, and because some Instagram posts were there, so there was a suspicion in her death, and a news that time came that जहर की पुष्टि हुई तो हत्या की दिशा में बढ़ेगी जांच. That means poison was so important. If poison if poison was detected, if it could have been detected, the line of investigation, the direction of investigation totally would have changed. So in this case, although some medicines were detected in the visceral sample of this lady Sadhvi ji, but poison was the main point of the point was for detection or for directing the investigating agency. So first significance of toxicological examination is it establishes cause of death in the sudden death cases or suspicious death cases. Then second is it helps in the criminal investigation. When the poison is detected in the autopsy sample of a person, then whether it is homicidal, suicidal, or accidental, it is determined by the investigating agency. If the poison is negative, the case goes in a different direction. But if poison comes positive in a particular sample, then investigating agencies analyze the other corroborative evidences and give the direction of investigation, whether it is they have to register the case in homicide or suicide or accident. So in this case, mahila ki sandigdh halat mein maut, matlab there is a suspicious conditions where when the female died, and इसमें भी जहर खिलाकर मारने का आरोप. तो in all those cases, there's a famous Sunanda Pushkar case also, it is there. In all such cases, examining the poison from the visceral tissue is very important, and it gives the direction to the investigating agency in which direction they have to move forward. So this is the significance of the toxicological examination. That's why the samples are sent to the toxicology laboratory of the forensic labs. And what procedure actually is being followed by the investigating agency whenever there is some unnatural or suspected death case? Police investigation is done, and during investigation, police takes that body to the hospital for autopsy or post-mortem, and from there, during autopsy, by physical examining the body, the doctor cannot conclude that the cause of death is due to poisoning. So he or she preserves the sample, and those preserved samples are given to the police officials to send them to the laboratory. Police takes that sample to forensic labs, and in forensic lab examination is done, poison detection examination is done. Again, we hand over the report to the police. Police takes that report to the same doctor who has done the autopsy, and that doctor gives the opinion regarding the cause of death of the person. If poison comes positive, that means the cause of death is poisoning. If there is no poison, then doctor gives some other opinion, whether the case might be of hanging or drowning or some disease. So person might have died due to all those other reasons and not the poison. And then that report is submitted by the police in the court of law. This is the whole procedure which investigating agencies follows whenever there is a case of suspected or sudden death. So what is the job profile of a toxicologist? He has to analyze the body fluids and tissue which he receives by the police after autopsy and detects the drug and poison within those samples. So we have techniques in the laboratory for detecting the poisons and the whole range of drugs with different techniques. I will go in detail in further slides. Before going further, first of all, nature of poisoning. It can be 3 types depending upon the intent: suicidal, homicidal, and accidental. The poisoning can be suicidal, homicidal, and accident. Among this, homicidal is they registered the case under 103 BNS, and in suicidal, it is usually a murk, and accidental it is a careless or some accidental under section is registered. Then comes the classification of poisons. Poison can be classified depending upon the physical nature and chemical nature into 6 categories. First category is noxious gases. Under noxious gases comes all those gases which are harmful for human health, like carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide. Then we have methane, the sewer gas, common sewer gas. Then ammonia, methyl isocyanate. You all are well aware of the Bhopal gas tragedy, where this methyl isocyanate gas was leaked in that pesticide factory. Then comes the volatile poison. All those liquids which are volatile at room temperature and harmful for health comes under these category, like methyl alcohol, ethyl alcohol, then chloral hydrate, chloroform, cyanide, phosphine, phosgene. All these gases are harmful for all these volatile poisons which are harmful for human health comes under the category of volatile poison during in the classification of poisons. Then comes the non-volatile inorganic poison category. In this, all the metal poison as well as the anions like nitrite, sodium nitrite, sulfides, sulfuric acid ka sulfate, hydrochloric acid if it is a poison, then chloride, arsenic, famous poison arsenic, aluminium phosphide, which is commonly used in preserving the wheat gunny bags, aluminium phosphate, Selphos tablets, we commonly called it as Selphos tablets. Then comes zinc phosphide, which is common rat killer poison. Mercury, we say it as para, and it is also used in the tablet made from mercury is also used in the preservation of this wheat or any other grains, for some other grains also, bajra and all. So para tablets are used for that. So these all comes under the category of non-volatile inorganic poisons. Then comes the non-volatile organic poisons. In this also we have 3 types: neutral, basic drugs, neutral poisons, basic poisons, and acidic poison. Among the neutral poison, the common poisons are pesticides. There are wide range of pesticides. Pesticide include insecticide, rodenticide, fungicides, algicide, all types of chemicals which are used to kill the insects or rodents. They all comes under pesticides, and it is a wide category, and it is the most common category which we deal in the laboratory, and the person use this for suicidal as well as homicidal purposes, and cases of accidental poisoning also occurs during the spray of insecticides in the field. So it is the most common type of poison which we are detecting in the laboratories. And among the examples, we can say monocrotophos, malathion, pyrethrin, paraquat, endosulfan. These all are examples of the pesticides, and all the pesticides comes in the category of non-volatile organic neutral poisons. Then comes another category under non-volatile organic is alkaline poisons. Alkaline poisons basically includes all the basic nature poison, and the most common category in this is the alkaloids. So alkaloids of opium, then of other basic drugs like tranquilizing drugs, they all comes in this category. So all the alkaloid means anything which contains nitrogen in its structure, and it is usually obtained from the plants. So the alkaloid from the plant which have the narcotic activity or any sedation effect comes under this category. Example of the poison coming under this category are chemical constituents of opium, alkaloids of opium like morphine, thebaine, codeine, papaverine. All these are the chemical constituents of opium. Then the synthetic product, semi-synthetic product of opium, that is heroin. We can say it is smack or heroin. It is also prepared from morphine. Diacetyl morphine is called heroin. It also comes under this category. Then there are products of cannabis plants, bhang, charas, ganja. Bhang is the leaf of the cannabis plants, and it doesn't come under NDPS Act, but it comes under Excise Act. Then there is charas and ganja. So what is ganja? Is the female top of the female flowering plant, and charas is the extract obtained from the cannabis plants, some parts of the cannabis plant. So these all come from the cannabis plants and come under the category of this non-volatile organic alkaline group. And then there are basic drugs like the tranquilizer drugs, जिसे हम बोलते हैं नींद की गोलियां, alprazolam, diazepam. Then there is oxazepam, lorazepam. All those tablets and drugs, psychoactive drugs, they come under this category. So this is also a very important category, and people usually take the drugs coming under the poison coming under this category as for sedation or for recreation purposes. So this is also a very important category, and we receive cases of these drugs in the lab. Frequently we receive cases. Then comes third category under non-volatile organic is the acidic drug. In this comes barbiturates and sulfur drugs. Barbiturate is also used in the patient having some neural disorders, and this is also taken by the medical practitioner for the poisoning purposes. We have done a case where the person has given barbiturate. I'll discuss that case with you in the next slides. Then comes the plant poisons, category of plant poisons. In the plant poisons, dhatura, aconite, oleander, nux vomica, Abrus precatorius, these are some of the plants which are poisonous. Their extracts or their glycosides or their any part, like the some plant have their roots which are poisonous, some plants have their leaves which are poisonous. So these are some of the plants which are poisonous. Abrus precatorius is Ratti, you might be knowing, all of you. Nux vomica, it is strychnine and brucine, two of its constituents which are poisonous. Oleander, commonly we called it as kaner. Aconite, the roots of aconite plant, meetha vish, we say it as meetha vish, it is also poisonous. Dhatura we all know, as prasad, it is being used in Shivji temples. So these are all poisonous plants. And next, last category is the miscellaneous poisons category. Miscellaneous poison includes all those poisons which doesn't come under the category, above categories. For example, glass powder, diamond dust, and all the insect or snake venom poisoning cases comes under this miscellaneous poison category. So this was about the classification of poisons. Next comes the forms of poison. Why we are studying forms of poison here? How quick that poison acts on the body depends on the form of the poison. So poison can be in the form of gas or liquid or solid. So if the poison, if a person inhales a poison, that means in the gaseous form a poison goes inside the body. It is very much like it shows its quick action. Then secondly, if poison is injected intravenously, it also shows quick action. Then third number is the injected intramuscularly. Then ingestion, the mode of taking poison by ingestion through mouth. And last is the when poison applied to the skin, it acts slowly. So this is we can, by the form of poison, we can say how quick the poison might have affected. In the Bhopal gas tragedy, the poison was in the form of gas. That's why large mass tragedy happened. And in all such cases, mass tragedy will be happen if the poison is in the gaseous form, because it will directly affect the lung and the respiring capacity of the people. Then what are the samples which we are receiving in the laboratory for toxicological analysis? Usually we use a term viscera for those samples. What is viscera? Viscera is the short form of visceral organ. And what are visceral organs? Visceral organs are the internal organs, internal vital organs of the body, and the representative sample of those internal organs are sent to the laboratory for examination of poison, for detection of poison. So in the viscera, we can say stomach, intestine, both small and large, liver, spleen, kidney, heart, lung, brain. All those samples during autopsy are taken by the doctor and sent to the laboratory. Then other biological fluid like blood, urine, gastric lavage, vitreous humor, these samples are also sent by the doctor depending upon the need of examination. Suppose if it is a case of alcohol, drink and drive, if it is a case of drink and drive, doctor will always, it is compulsory for him, mandatory for him to send the blood and urine sample for exact quantitative estimation of ethyl alcohol in the blood. So in that case, stomach intestine will not give the quantitative estimation of ethyl alcohol. If he has sent blood and urine, then the lab can detect and give the quantitative percentage of ethyl alcohol in those samples, blood and urine samples. So depending upon the nature of examination, nature of the case, doctor preserves the sample and sent to FSL, forensic labs. So this is all about the viscera, human internal organs. Then how the sampling is to be done, and why, like these are the biological sample and it can decompose easily, degrade easily. So, and it takes around if a person has died on 1st of a month, it takes around 15 days to send that sample to the lab. And then in the lab, because there is a pendency, it takes around 2 or 2.5 months for in the examination of those visceral sample. If the sample is not properly preserved, that will get decomposed and degraded, and no false positive result can come, or sometimes the result doesn't come. So to avoid those situations, the visceral sample is preserved properly, and there are norms, there are protocols to preserve those samples. So in case of viscera, the samples are preserved in the saturated solution of common salt. Viscera, I have already told you, stomach content, small intestine, large intestine, and how they have to take, how much of those sample have to be taken by the doctor. Like in case of small intestine, usually 30 centimeter, a small piece is preserved. Large intestine 20 to 25 centimeter, and stomach is sent as whole. It is tied at both the end. If the person has ingested poison, in those cases, stomach is a very crucial organ for detection of poison. Then the solid viscera, which comprises brain, heart, lung, liver, spleen, kidney. The longitudinal half of these organs, around 50 to 100 grams of each, they are put in a jar, and saturated solution of common salt is added to that for preserving the viscera properly. Then how the blood is to be sampled. The blood, usually it has to be taken either 50 to 100 ml, and 2 samples are taken, one for qualitative analysis and second for quantitative analysis. So for qualitative, blood from right atrium is good, and for quantitative, usually peripheral blood is taken, preferably from right and left femoral veins. And preservative used should be sodium fluoride and potassium oxalate. Mixture of sodium fluoride and potassium oxalate are used as preservative for sampling of the blood, and blood is very crucial to be preserved in cases of alcohol poisoning, in cases of drug of abuse. If the person has taken drug of abuse, in those such cases, blood is a important sample to be taken and sent to the toxicology laboratory. These are the jars containing viscera. In these form, the viscera is received by us. Doctor sent viscera. There is a paper label on the jar mentioning all the details of the deceased, the person whose viscera is this, and all the details of the specimen inside this jar. Like jar A contains stomach and intestine, jar B might be containing liver, spleen, kidney. It is all being written on the paper label sticking outside the jar. And jar is only packed, or the cloth is only put on the cap of the jar, not it doesn't enclose completely the jar. Why? So that at the time of receiving, only the FSL person sees how much viscera is sent and in what stage or in what state viscera is sent by the doctor. Okay, so before depositing the case, the visceral jars, the blood sample tubes, they are examined, and then only the sample is deposited in the forensic lab for examination of the samples. Because all cases, all reports have to be submitted to the court of law. Once I have received a case in which instead of small intestine, it was cut pieces of the snake. And in another instance, I received a case in which the jar have labeled as stomach intestine. It was containing only mud and water. So after those incidences, we have stopped taking the case all enclosed inside the cloth packet. The jar should be transparent and the viscera should be visible to the lab person, that yes, the viscera is in a position for, and sufficient viscera is there for examining the case, and it is viscera only and not the snake or the mud. So from that, like we have changed the protocols, and the viscera is received in such jars by the lab. Now, what are the instructions for the crime scene officers whenever they go to the crime scenes which are related to some poisoning cases? First is they have to visit the crime scene carefully and search for the suspected material consumed. If they find any utensil, or they find any like container of poison, pesticide, or some drug wrapper, medicine wrapper, they have to collect that also during the crime scene search. And if container is found near the body, if we find a container of the poison near the body, that can be probably suicide. The line of investigation turn towards the suicidal. But if we don't find any container nearby the body, or it is hidden, or the team doesn't find that, so the case, the line of investigation in such cases goes towards homicidal poisoning. So merely by checking or thoroughly visiting the crime scene and searching for the poison container, one can, in broad way, can tell whether the case can be suicide or homicide. Secondly, if they find some vomit stained soil or feces of the person or blood stained clothes, they should collect, and they should tell that investigating team or agency to collect those sample and send to FSL. Then if they find some drug wrapper, pesticide bottle, or any other food material consumed during during this incidents, those samples also have to be collected by the crime scene officers, so that if they contain the poison, corroborative evidence will be there that this poison was mixed with this sample and given to the person, or the person has taken this sample along with suppose halwa or anything else, and the modus operandi or mode of death can be ascertained. Now, in the lab, when we receive the samples, how analysis we do the toxicological analysis, how we are dealing with the visceral samples. First of all, case is open. Open means cutting the viscera samples in small pieces, because in the lab what we have to do is we have to examine it using various chemicals. I have told you the classification of poison. There are so many groups of poison, and for each group the method of extraction is different. So first of all, viscera is cut in the small pieces. Then according to the group of poison, like volatile, the gaseous poison, the pesticide, the drugs, various different chemicals are added to the um, those cut visceral samples, and extraction is done. Extraction for particularly particular group, like volatile or the gaseous or the pesticide. This is the, I have shown the picture of pesticide extraction. In these conical flask, pesticide is being extracted from the visceral sample. We have put the chemical for pesticide. So chemical nature of poison determine the method of extraction. For each classification or the group of poison, there is a different method for extraction of that group. So first of all, we extract for various groups, then we identify, the toxicologist identify the preliminary identification is done for each group. So preliminary method includes color test, which all of us are doing in 11th and 12th of our like practicals, science practicals. These are the same color test after extraction. First method is color test. Second method is thin layer chromatography, TLC. You might have heard about this during your graduations. The TLC is a technique in which there is a plate, glass plate, on which silica gel is adhered, and samples. The second and third picture is of TLC. You can see second and third picture, it is of TLC, and the sample is spotted at the base. Then there is a solvent, with the help of it the sample moves and separation takes place. So in the second picture, you can see first is the case, black one, black and brown spots, TLC plate. There are two TLC plate in the second picture. First is black and brown, and second is yellow with orange spots. The first plate, in the first plate, black and brown, the spots, first spot is of sample, extracted sample, visceral sample. Second is of opium. Third is of heroin, and fourth is of alprazolam. So the case sample, it is the spot obtained in the case sample are matching with the third one. That means heroin. Similarly, in the second picture, orange and yellow, it is the first is the sample, second, third, and fourth are the control samples available with the lab. And here also it is matching with the third one. And the second picture containing multiple color spots, orange, pink, purple, pink. This is the result we obtained during the examination of cannabis product, bhang, charas, ganja. Such beautiful colored spots comes in the TLC plate, because the constituents of that plant, it is separated by this chromatography technique. You might have heard chromatography is a separation technique. First of all, we separate, and then we identify it using some spray reagent. So this we have sprayed with the fast blue bee, and such beautiful results come in the cannabis suspected cases. So this is called TLC. Third preliminary identification technique is immunoassay analyzers. It is based on antibody antigen this thing theory reaction, and whenever there is some antibody, there are chips of the antigens, and we insert those cassettes or cartridges in the instrument. It, along with the sample, it identifies on the basis of antibody antigen reaction. But it is also a preliminary method. it is not a confirmatory method, because there are many types, there are many antibodies which are long lived, they are not short lived. So those antibodies will also be identified by these cartridges. And although they might not have been the reason for this poisoning incidents. So this is also a preliminary method for getting some idea about the what type of poison the person might have consumed. So then comes the instrumental techniques. We have, like, these are the instrumental techniques useful for toxicological purposes: UV visible spectrophotometry, high performance thin layer chromatography, Fourier transform infrared FTIR, high performance liquid chromatography HPLC, then gas chromatography with headspace, and gas chromatography with mass spectrometry. The above picture is of GCMS, gas chromatography with mass spectrometry, which is a gold standard technique for identification of unknown poisons, because mass fragmentation pattern of a chemical is similar to the DNA fingerprinting technique. It is unique for that particular chemical. So this is a gold standard technique. You say GC mass. Then GC headspace. It is a gas chromatography coupled with headspace instrument. Headspace. This instrument is useful for examination or detection of the volatile liquids. For example, ethyl alcohols. In all drink and drive cases, this instrument is very helpful for detection of alcohol from the blood samples or the urine sample, and giving their percentage. In 1 ml of the blood sample, a toxicologist can, with the help of this instrument, gas chromatography headspace, he can analyze the quantity of ethyl alcohol in the whole body, in the whole blood. So this instrument is useful for detecting the percentage of ethyl alcohol in the blood. And all these other instrument, HPTLC, UV visible, FTIR, HPLC, they are helpful depending upon the preliminary examination. If it is a case of, suppose, any antibiotic, overdose of antibiotic, so in that case HPLC will be helpful. So all these instruments, because not a single instrument is sufficient to cover the whole group of whole classifications of poison. Every group of the poison has a different technique for confirmation. So these are various instrumental techniques which are present in the laboratory. Then comes the quality control and assurance measures. These are very important part of the toxicological examination. Every toxicologist has to use these certified reference material for checking the samples, for confirming the presence of any poison inside that sample. We should have CRMs. And if we have GC with mass has its own library in the instrument. In those cases, certified reference material are not necessary, are not compulsory, but in other all instruments, certified reference material has to be run before or after the sample to confirm its presence in the sample. Then blank samples are also used to detect the contamination. Blank sample means without the test or the controls. In the suppose we have used a preservative saturated salt solution, here the blank sample will be that solution. We have to be sure that it should not contain any type of poison. The liquid which we have used for preserving the visceral samples. Then we have method validation parameters like linearity, accuracy, precision, LOD, LOQ. They are checked for the validation of the method. Although there is SOP for detecting the poisons, but sometimes we receive many cases in which it is not given in those SOPs, or the methods are not given in those books. In our SOPs. So in those cases, we have to do some research work, and for confirming the presence of those poisons, we have to see the linearity, accuracy in all those validation parameters, and then only we can say, yes, our method is foolproof to identify this particular poison. For example, I have done a case where a girl died after consuming the hair removing soap. So I was not aware that some type of soap is also there in the market which is used for removing the hairs. I survey the literature, what type of chemical is present in the hair removing the soaps, and then I sent my staff to the market to bring some soaps which are like being sold by the name hair removing soap. Then we did research and we analyzed those samples for various chemicals, and then after confirming that yes, these chemicals are there in the hair removing soap, we examined those chemicals in the visceral samples which we received in that case, and barium sulfide came positive in that case. So actually that was not given in any SOP of, like, SOP is for common poisons, but sometimes we receive such cases which is not given in the SOPs, in the this thing, our manuals. So in such cases some research has to be done to detect the poison, because I told you, and everything can be poison. There is a very fine boundary between a poison, a medicine, and a substance, any chemical substance. If that dose exceeds, that can act as poison. For example, I told you common salt can also act as poison for some persons. So sometimes we have to detect that also. I received a case where KCl poisoning. KCl is potassium chloride. It is an injection given to the heart patients, but some nurse took that injection and her heartbeat increased tremendously and she died. And detecting the potassium and chloride ions from the visceral sample, it is not possible because it is already there in the body. So in such cases, the report is inconclusive, and only on the basis of corroborative other evidences, suppose the vial, the ampules which is present on the crime scene, that helps the case to decide whether it is a KCl poisoning case or not. So there are many poison which we are aware that they can act as poison, but they are undetectable, and giving the opinion about them will not be helpful for the court of law. Now I'll show you, this was about the what type of examination is being done and how the examination is done, what type of samples are deposited in the toxicology laboratory. Now I will show you some of the examples which will tell you about the significance of the toxicological examination, how the line of investigation has changed after the analysis of the visceral samples in the lab. So this was a case. The case is written in this Times of India. I presented this case here. Charred body was found in the farm of a person. He was a 55-year-old person, and he used to guard the farm in the night. And one fine morning, his son came to the farm. He found that his father died and somebody has burnt his body also. So initially he lodged an FIR for that some unknown person, for the purpose of loot, they might have killed his father, and the persons were unknown, and it was a case of murder and loot. But there was a body of the dog of this person, pet dog, nearby his field only. It was also found dead, but it was not charred. So because this was a charred body, there was no visceral sample. I told you viscera is the stomach, intestine. It was completely burned and charred in this case. But the visceral sample of the dog was not charred. The unknown persons, they forgot that this person is having a pet dog also, and he was also consuming the same food. So they forgot to burn that dog's body, and the sample when sent to the lab, we could not detect any poison in this charred body, but we were able to detect organophosphorus poison in the dog's viscera. And when police interrogated that, when the dog was consuming the same food, so that means the poison was there in the food itself. It is not a case of murder and loot. Then the daughter-in-law of that this person died deceased person, she confessed that yes, I have given poison in the sabzi to this her father-in-law, and told her husband that I have given today the poison to your father. But the husband of that lady, he was afraid that police will be investigating and will reach to the lady. So he helped his wife for by burning this body, so that police could not reach to the conclusion that the person has died by poisoning, and he only lodged the FIR for murder and loot. So by examining the visceral sample of the dog, it was clear that the person was given poison, although poison was not positive in this person's viscera, but poison was positive in the dog's viscera. And by those clues, we reached to the police reached to the conclusion, and we gave line of investigation to the police for homicidal poisoning. Otherwise, it was a case of murdering by any weapon or something, or either by strangulation, because body was charred, so there was no clear cause of death in this case. So the homicidal poisoning gave the line of investigation to the police agencies, and they were interrogated the daughter-in-law and reached to this conclusion that she has given the poison to the father-in-law, to that person. So this was a case which changed the state of line of investigation. This was again a case, इसमें पति ने कबूला जहर पिलाकर कार में जला दिया, नहीं तो मुझे रास्ते से हटा देते पत्नी और उसका प्रेमी. In this case also दवा के बहाने he gave medicine to the wife, and वो ही उसको लेकर गया, हॉस्पिटल लेके जाने के लिए घर से गया, और बाद में रास्ते में कार में आग लगा दी. तो उसने जो मेडिसिन उसको दी उस समय, दैट वाज सोडियम नाइट्रेट, विच इज अ पॉइजन. एंड because in this case body was semi burnt, body was not completely charged in that like earlier case. So in those samples we could able to detect this sodium nitrate in the body. And otherwise ये case ऐसे था कि चलती गाड़ी में आग लग गई, उसमें एक वाइफ मर गई और हस्बैंड भी थोड़ा सा उसको भी थोड़ा सा वो भी जला हल्का फुल्का. लेकिन दिस वॉज अ क्लियर केस ऑफ होमिसाइडल पॉइजनिंग, और उसको वो हॉस्पिटल ले जाते हुए रास्ते में अपनी द वाइफ बिकेम अनकॉन्शियस, एंड उसने उसको कार में आग लगा दी. एंड बाद में when the poison came positive in the samples, he admitted that he has given poison to the body or to the wife, and उसके बाद उसकी डेथ हो गई और उसने कार को चला दिया. This is again another case. इसमें the FIR was of accident. एक accident होता है बिलाड़ा रोड पर जोधपुर से जयपुर जाने के रूट पर, and in that accident one Innova car hit this Nano. This person was in Nano along with the pregnant wife and 3 daughters, and ये जाके पुलिस में कंप्लेंट करते हैं कि द नैनो कार द इनोवा कार ड्राइवर हिट दिस नैनो कार एंड माय this pregnant wife and these 3 daughters died due to this accident. But when the samples were sent to the laboratory, we found benzodiazepine tranquilizing drug in the visceral samples. So again interrogation was done by the police with this person, and he admitted that मैंने इनको नींद की गोलियां दी और उसके बाद इनका गला घोट के दम घोट के इन सबको मार दिया. एंड टू शो इट एज एन एक्सीडेंट, उसने जानबूझकर अपनी जो व्हीकल है वो इनोवा व्हीकल से टकरा दी, और जिससे कि लगे कि एक्सीडेंट में डेथ हो गई है. बट अगर इफ the benzodiazepine tranquilizing drug would not have been found in the sample, ये एक accident का ही case होता है. And never it has like ये कभी reveal नहीं होता the person has murdered the wife and the daughters. Similarly, this was a case in which exhumation was done. The person died under normal circumstances. ऐसे लगा sudden death होगी due to some heart attack and all, and he was a Mohammedan person. उसकी body को bury कर दिया, and after 1 month or so, the mother of that deceased person got suspicious about the daughter-in-law कि ये बहुत खुश है, इसकी activities बिल्कुल भी नहीं लग रही कि इसके husband की death हुई है. Then she contacted police and कहा कि I have some doubt regarding my son's death. तो उन्होंने कहा ठीक है, उन्होंने कहा एप्लीकेशन दे दीजिए, बॉडी को एक्सह्यूम करके उसमें सैंपल्स लेंगे, एंड दो सैंपल्स वर सेंट टू FSL. तो एक्सह्यूमेशन के बाद वाले सैंपल, दैट मीन्स मिक्स्ड विद द सॉइल, वो सैंपल्स व्हेन केम टू FSL, एल्यूमिनियम फॉस्फाइड जिसे हम सेल्फॉस भी कहते हैं, सेल्फॉस वाज फाउंड पॉजिटिव in those samples. And when police interrogated the wife, she said मैंने शिकंजी में जहर मिलाकर अपने husband की death की थी, अपने husband को मारा था. So she admitted. So you can see all these cases, earlier they were like under either the normal circumstances or FIR is with accident, but after examining the visceral sample, the line of investigation has changed. This is one another case. This had been a very popular case of Churu. आप इसको आज तक का एक चैनल आता है क्राइम तक. This case is there also. That person has also discussed this case. इसमें one person उसके घर में लगातार हर 15 days से एक डेथ होती थी, and the whole village, ये विलेज के पर्सन थे, ये सोचते थे कि इसके घर में देयर इज सम प्रेत आत्मा या समथिंग लाइक दैट, वैसा कुछ इनके घर में एवरी 15 days देयर इज अ डेथ बीइंग ऑकरिंग. लाइक पहले इनकी इस पर्सन की दादी की डेथ होती है, फिर इसके बड़े बेटे की, देन इसके छोटे बेटे की. तो दादी एंड बड़े बेटा दे गॉट क्रिमेटेड and the whole village was very sympathetic to this person. और एक चीज और इंसिडेंट was happening in the home, इसके घर में कहीं पर भी आग लग जाती थी. So this was all जो इसने कोशिश की कि लोगों को इस डायरेक्शन में लेके जाए कि some प्रेत आत्मा साया is there, and everybody was into this only. और रहस्यमयी एंड सस्पिशियस सर्कमस्टांसेस में इसके घर में these all activities were being done. ये आज तक पर भी केस बहुत बार हाईलाइट हो रहा था उन दिनों में, न्यूज में it was in the news. And in this case दो लोगों के विसरा, पुलिस didn't interfere, but when the third person died, the छोटा बेटा 4 years का son, when he also died after 15 days, every 15 days there was a death in the home. So उस बेटे को they buried because he was only 4 years old. तो पुलिस अगेन इंटरफेयर्ड, एंड पुलिस को इन लोगों ने काम नहीं करने दिया. फर्स्ट में बड़ा मुश्किल से पुलिस को इंटरफेयर करने दिया. गांव वालों ने कहा कि लाइक इफ यू विल इंटरफेयर दैट प्रेत विल कम टू आवर हाउसेस आल्सो. अभी तो ही इज फोकस्ड ऑन दिस पर्सनस हाउस ओनली. सो बहुत मुश्किल से पुलिस इंटरफेयर्ड इन दिस केस, एंड देन took the samples, buried body के samples लिए and sent to FSL. We detected phenobarbital and deltamethrin. Deltamethrin is a pesticide and phenobarbital is a barbiturate drug. So we told that yes, the sample of this young boy, 4 years kid, is having these two poisons in the body, and he might have been killed by giving this. Then police again investigated, and मैंने उनको ये भी बताया कि the phenobarbiturate जो है, phenobarbiturates जो है, this is a drug used by the medical practitioner or any person who has some knowledge of this drugs, या मेडिकल फील्ड का कोई पर्सन होगा, either he can be nurse, doctor, compounder or some pharmacist. So police when interrogated in this direction, because it was a village, so deltamethrin is all were well aware of the ill effects of the deltamethrin, but ill effects of phenobarbital was only a person of medical field can be can be involved in this. Police interrogated and came to the conclusion that the person जिसके घर में ये सब कुछ हो रहा था, वही एक मेडिकल स्टोर उस पूरे गांव में उसका ही एक मेडिकल स्टोर था, and he is having these drugs in the medical store. Then interrogated that person and he confessed that मैं अपने पत्नी के चरित्र पे शक करता था और मैं ये मानता था कि बच्चे भी मेरे नहीं है. फिर पूछा गया कि why you killed your दादी, कि it was a rehearsal कि ये whether this modus operandi is helpful or not, it will be killing it is a good method for killing these मतलब next target उसने अपनी wife को भी बनाया था. तो ये he wanted to kill the 2 sons as well as the wife. उसके लिए उसने अपनी दादी जो कि 82 years या ज्यादा थी उनको मारा और उससे उसने मॉडस ऑपरेंडी को कंफर्म किया कि यस इट इज गोइंग गुड, ये ठीक तरीका है किसी को किल करने के लिए. एंड देन उसने ही स्टार्टेड. और गांव में अच्छा वो जो आग लग रही थी द सैंपल सेंट टू सेमी बर्न सैंपल्स भी लैब में एग्जामिन होने के लिए आए. कहीं सब लोग बैठे हैं इकट्ठे गैदरिंग में और पीछे कहीं आग लग रही है, कभी सब लोग रूम में बैठे हैं किचन में आग लग रही है. दो सैंपल व्हेन वी एनालाइज दे वर कंटेनिंग sodium. Presence of sodium was found on those sample because sodium is a metal which catches fire when it is exposed to moisture. So the person science का person था, he was of science background person, उसे ये मालूम था कि sodium and potassium are such metals जो मॉइस्चर में आग पकड़ते हैं. एंड देन phenobarbiturate is a drug, आप उसमें सेमी कॉन्शियस कर सकते हैं. देन यू कैन गिव deltamethrin which is a full proof poison pesticide है, you can kill. So he was using this modus operandi to do the murders of all these family members. And next target was wife, और अपनी वाइफ को उसको अगले 15 days में उसको उसने मारना था. बट वो बच गई जब ये पर्सन की सारी रिवील हो गया. एंड पुलिस सेव द वाइफ एज वो नेक्स्ट विक्टिम नहीं बनी उस केस में. So this was a very famous case. आप इसको देख भी सकते हैं, आपके किसी क्राइम तक एक चैनल आता है उस पर भी एक केस है. Then again there is a case, initially it was a drowning case, but when the visceral sample sent to the lab, it turned out to be case of poisoning, insecticide poisoning. And then police interrogated and reached to the conclusion the in-laws gave a poison to grandson, granddaughter and daughter-in-law. This is another case where a lady ingested acid and was hospitalized, and through the tube, एक tube लगी हुई थी, Ryle's tube, उससे उसको खाना दिया जा रहा था because after ingestion of acid उसकी the trachea and the food pipe was all burned. So through that tube the husband gave aluminium phosphide to that lady. और जब visceral samples, when we received the visceral sample, it was initially told कि she has ingested acid by herself. It is a clear-cut case of acid poisoning and a suicidal case. But we detected another poison, that is aluminium phosphide, in the samples. So we told the police, and police interrogated the husband, and he said yes, when she was hospitalized, I gave aluminium phosphide through that tube to kill his wife. So there are two samples deposited. First 222/2000 is the visceral sample, and 624/2000 is the packet which he gave through the Ryle's tube, the poison packet. इसमें भी initially it was a case of hanging, and we detected organophosphorus insecticide in the visceral sample, and that changed the direction of investigation of, and the husband admitted that yes, I have given poison, and then hanged the body. These are some of the drugs we have received. Like this was a drug of said to be of Ayurvedic drug, but we detected aluminium phosphide in the drug samples. This was good jaggery, जिसमें aluminium phosphide poison डाला हुआ है और hide करके poison use किया गया है for cattle poisoning in the village. Cattle को मारा था ये वाला गुड़ देकर, गुड़ के अंदर पेस्टिसाइड छुपाया हुआ है, एल्यूमिनियम फॉस्फेट किया हुआ है, बैड किया हुआ है. दिस वाज अ रेयर केस ऑफ क्लोरल हाइड्रेट पॉइजनिंग इन अ यूएस नेशनल केस. एक होटल में वो रुका हुआ था, एंड ही टुक दिस पॉइजन, एंड दिस वाज वेरी न्यू फॉर अस टू डिटेक्ट सच पॉइजन, क्योंकि क्लोरल हाइड्रेट इज नॉट अ कॉमन पॉइजन in India. So I went to Narcotic Control Bureau, but they were also unaware of this. Only this much of the sample was found with that person, और हमें इसी sample को detect करना था before detecting the visceral samples for any poison कि ये क्या है. सबसे पहले इसकी testing थी, but फिर then we did methods and used the instruments and we came to the conclusion this is chloral hydrate and the फिर बाद में person के viscera में भी chloral hydrate positive आया. These were the ganja cigarette consumed by that person only. US national ये वाली ganja cigarettes he was using. उसी की body के पास मिली. Then बाटी होती है, दाल बाटी is a dish राजस्थान की. उसमें 4-8 pesticide देखिए हाइड करके फैमिली में मतलब देवरानी जेठानी ने एक दूसरे मतलब एक ने दूसरे को देने के लिए बाटी बनाई. बाटी में पॉइजन डाल दिया to kill the जेठानी. So we received these bodies for poison analysis. We found 4-8 pesticide. Black जो दिख रहा है, that is 4-8 pesticide. This is a case in which ash was found, और इस ash में हमें we found the contents of the this thing smack. कुछ हमें उसके constituents मिले smack के monoacetyl we could able to detect, और यही हमारे पास sample आया था. And इसमें we have to test first and then we tested the visceral sample, because जो भी body के पास मिलता है in case of suicidal that is very crucial and important. सबसे पहले उसको detect करना is very important, just because आपका जो line of investigation है for chemical analysis, because you have a limited amount of visceral samples and your line of investigation should like आप उस poison से जैसे like in case of chloral hydrate वो हमारी common poison की list में it is not there, so we would not have tested chloral hydrate poison in that sample if we like वो available नहीं होता तो. So sometimes the samples which are found near the bodies are very important to decide and to determine the poison, because the category of poison is very vast. So this was all about my presentation. Hope you might have been benefited.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for an excellent session. The practical examples, valuable experiences, and expert guidance shared today have certainly enhanced our knowledge and broadened our perspective. We now request the participants to ask their queries.
Have you listened or have you understood what I have told you? Because nobody is putting any query.
Any questions from the participants? You can write in the chat box. I don't think they have. So they have understood everything, I think.
How do you account for the post-mortem interval when calculating the rate of drug? It's not like analytical toxicologist job to give the account for the post-mortem interval or the time since death. It is not our part. Our part is only to detect the poison from the sample sent to us. It is the part of the medical jurist to determine the time since death or when the death might have occurred. It's their part to it, because they are the person who sees the bodies first. We only receive the samples in the glass jars. So the forensic lab to determine the time since death. Usually husband-wife cases are there, beta, and otherwise there are cases of Devrani, Jithani, then cattle poisoning were also there. Zyadatar there are illicit relationships जिसमें all these happens. So we receive such cases. These are all criminal cases. So it happens in the husband-wife cases usually. One person is asking why only husband-wife cases. Yeah, I've showed you many other cases also. Cattle poisoning case I have shown. I have shown you a case of Devrani Jethani, जिसमें बाटी थी, दाल बाटी. There are other cases also. It is all rivalry, and the person usually family person ही होते हैं. In cases of homicidal poisoning, usually family persons are involved. What I have seen in my 28 years of job, nearby persons are involved and give homicidal poisoning cases. आपको वो भी बताया डॉटर इन लॉ वाला केस, उसमें हस्बैंड वाइफ नहीं है. शी किल्ड फादर इन लॉ. दैट वाज वेरी हाईलाइटेड केस ऑफ पाली डिस्ट्रिक्ट. तो दूसरे केसेस भी हैं, बट ऑल आर रिलेटिव्स. What I have seen is all the persons are relatives usually in homicidal poisoning cases. Suicidal mein there are conditions, they do suicide by ingesting poison, but in homicidal usually relatives are involved in such cases. Any other query? Barium sulfide case. In the barium sulfide case, I received a sample of viscera in which FIR was there that lady, the girl consumed hair removing soap, बाल उतारने का soap. तो being female, मुझे भी नहीं मालूम there is such soap is coming in the market or not. There are lotion, there are tubes, there are another things, creams हैं, but soap ऐसा कोई आता है, I was not aware. सच बात है. And I searched the literature ki if there are some soaps available, unme kya constituent, what chemical constituents are being used in such soaps, and then I sent the person, because that was a local Jodhpur case, so I sent the person to the market ki aap dekhiye market mein there are such soaps might be available in the market. He brought that soap only for ₹10, and we detected that soap for chemical constituent, what chemical constituents are there in that soap, and we found barium ion, sulfide ion in the soap, and it was matching with the literature also says such ions should be there for using this for making this hair removing soap, and we detected those ions in those sample of that girl. So that means it was clear that she has ingested the hair removing soap and died due to that poisoning, barium and sulfide ion poisoning. I have so many cases. अभी मैंने आपको सिर्फ 5 से 10 cases दिखाए होंगे. Like I have 100 of such cases in my 28 years of job. Very interesting. Some of them are very interesting, but due to time constraints, I cannot explain. I cannot like give the details of all the cases. Just to show the significance of toxicological examination, I have shown these cases. Various. If you have very small, first of all, there is a protocol to detect all the groups, gases, volatile poison, pesticide, then drug of abuse, alkaline, neutral and acidic, all. अगर इनमें कुछ भी positive नहीं आता, we go to the history की history क्या है. If it is some other history, like in that case, barium sulfide history was there, hair removing soap की हिस्ट्री थी, तो वी डिटेक्टेड दैट, है ना. तो आपको वो प्रोटोकॉल, यू हैव टू फॉलो दैट प्रोटोकॉल ऑलवेज इन एवरी केस. It is not that if the soap is found near the body or if some poison is found near the body, you will be skipping the rest of the poison detection. We have to detect according to the protocol, because the report which is being sent to the police is like this. The sample is found positive for suppose organophosphorus compound and gave negative test for metallic poison, cyanide, alkaloid. That means आपको cyanide, alkaloid ये सब test करने ही है. वो protocol has to be followed. उसके if that doesn't come positive, आपको then history भी देखनी है कि history में क्या चल रहा है, history of the FIR and all. और सिर्फ हिस्ट्री को स्टिक करेंगे तो एक्सीडेंट का केस कैन नेवर बी टर्न टू पॉइजनिंग केस. अगर हिस्ट्री भी अकेली नहीं देखनी है, सबसे पहले आपको प्रोटोकॉल ही फॉलो करना है, आपका एसओपी फॉलो करना है. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन प्लीज.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for being with us today. Now, we would like to welcome our next speaker, Dr. Mukesh Sharma.
Shall I leave the...
I think, ma'am, dear participants, we have noted down your questions and we will be surely answering these questions just due to the less time constraints and everything. So we need to move to the next session. But ma'am, thank you so much for being there with us. And quickly, let me introduce to the faculty. We have Dr. Samir, he is the head of the department.
Hello.
Dr. Mridu, Dr. Rakesh Meena, and Stelja Sharma. And we all are, and with all the students, thank you so much for joining and giving us your time, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for giving me
Thank
the
you, ma'am.
opportunity. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Vaishnavi, continue.
Now, we would like to welcome our next speaker, Dr. Mukesh Sharma. Dr. Mukesh Sharma, MSc PhD as an Assistant Director in Physics Division. He has completed his PhD in the field of material science in the year 2005. He was selected as SSO through RPSC 2007 at Merit 1 and joined the state FSL in July 2008. At present, he is working as an Assistant Director Physics in Forensic Science Laboratory, Rajasthan, India. He has published more than 120 research articles in international or national journals or conferences. He has his field of research as are crime scene management, trace evidence analysis, forensic physics and cyber or digital forensics. He has visited approx 600 crime scenes during his last 11 years services. He had been nominated as leading scientist of the world 2010 from IBC England. He has total teaching experience of 7 years, awarded as Young Promising Scientist in the field of forensic science 2015 at Nagpur University, Nagpur, and awarded as Excellent Service in the field of forensic science from Computer Society of India 2016. Recently, November 2017, Dr. Sharma has been awarded as Award to Excellence in Cybersecurity. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for the introduction. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm just sharing my PPT. My screen is visible now?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
My slides are visible now. My slide is visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Thank you. And it is moving. Slides are changing.
Yes, sir, sure.
Okay. So, good afternoon to all. It is my pleasure to being here with new minds with forensic science. And basically, I am a pure physicist. I done my PhD in material science. And Modi University, I have my junior is there, Professor K.C. Bamu. He is now associate professor in Modi University only in physics, and he is very dynamic scientist. I thank Samir sir and Selja ma'am. They have invited me for the same matter, that pure physics, how we are interacting with physics and forensic science. So it's my pleasure always. So think like that. When I was in 9th class or 10th class, I started with Newton's law. Okay, and from that, today we are working on scene of crime or analysis of crime scenes, and a lot of basic fundamental parameter of physics we are using. So physics, chemistry, maths, geology, and botany. If you have the fundamental concepts of any of these 5 subjects, you are a good forensic expert. But you have a strong basic fundamental concept behind these subjects. So I will try to explain you the forensic science with physics and how the pure physics is playing a vital role to investigate, to evaluate the scene of crime, sometimes road accident, sometimes a person have committed suicide from height, a blood spatter of a firearm, and building collapses. These four examples I will try to explain, and all these are belongs to pure physics and pure basic sciences of basic concepts of physics. So starting with my concept, how physics in forensic can be applied. What are the basic principles we are using in physics? There are very basic principles. I will cover four today only. These are related to the crime scenes, and we are visible, and we are all are aware of these basic principles. With these particular cases, which are going to explain, you will find day to day in newspapers and as well as reading in the day to day happenings. So I will try to correlate all the cases with your practical day to day happenings. So where the physics and forensic physics and you can say correlate of each other and how they are balancing each other. So maintain a balance on a rope, it comes with physics. The magnifier in every forensic expert, a detective, the magnifier is there, and the magnifier works on the principle of optics. You can say reflection, magnification. So coming with the forensic science is defined as the application of all scientific methods, whatever the subject is, all scientific methods, recognition, collection, identification, comparison of evidences which are found at the scene of crime, which are not common to the particular location and which are not common for a person to identify these parameters. The forensic scientists are capable to analyze these evidences in the way of method of um, uh, scientific laws and scientific parameters like if I'm analyzing DNA and there is body fluid analysis, body fluid comes in the serology and biology division, and this is a biological part. Again, I come in the fingerprints, I identify them with magnification, and when I going to examine that, that is an purely physics again. You are using the superimposition technique on uh, mathematical analysis, or you can say approximation methods using superimposition and all the methods like AFIS or NAFIS, which are available softwares to compare and identify fingerprint or work on superimposition, or which is belongs to physics only. Coming to the basic fundamental physics is always a fun if you learn it. Otherwise, it is a very tough subject and you will always go around it. You will not exactly find what is happening with the physics. So, coming to the physics, I just start with reconstruction of crime scenes, or you can say reconstruction of accident. When I think there are collision, if the collision is there, there must be some basic parameter of physics like motion, force, work, energy, momentum, light, sound, electricity, and magnetism. And a forensic physicist always have the evidence concept analysis using these basic parameters. What was the kinematics? What was the kinetics of that particular motion of that particular vehicles? And very especially in the basics, we know the Newton's law, first law, second law, and third law. All the collisions, all the accidents which are happening on the road, these are real particle, and Newton's law are very much applicable with that. The conservation of momentum is also completely applicable with that. Collision with inelastic collision is directly applicable with that, and we can calculate the initial velocity, we can calculate the final velocity, we can calculate the acceleration and deceleration values of the particular vehicles. I will explain in the next session and these slides. These are the basic definitions. We know the force, we know the weight, we know the mass. If you don't know, these slides will be there with you. We know the static frictions, we know the kinetic frictions. Why I am explaining these 7 or 8 basic definitions? These are we have read in 8th class, 9th class, and 10th class in physics. And we start with that basic fundamentals and go to the Newton's law. Velocity, you know that velocity with respect to work coefficient, friction, we know that the positive velocity and negative velocity, we know that means if the body is moving with in a standard direction, that is positive. If the not moving the standard direction, or you can say oppose the position of the particular particle, then it is negative velocity. Coming to the acceleration, change in variation in velocity is acceleration. Momentum, we know that momentum is always mass into velocity, and the vehicle, the collision between two particle, there must be mass, there must be velocity. If we know the concept of momentum and the energy law, then the case of road accident can easily be defined, explained, and reconstruct. This is the basic and very important case study analysis using energy and momentum. There are different energies like kinetic and potential. Kinetic energy, we know that half mv square. Potential energy, we know that mgh. If we did a simple NEET or JEE exam, we all aware with these definitions. Now coming to the Newton's law, there is any doubt in the slides. These are very basic and make you familiar with the physics only, so that when I explain the things, when I speak the points, you must aware ki isme kya I want to explain all of you, and what is the basic parameter we are going to calculate in a particular accident, and how we are reconstructing those cases will be very easy. So coming to the Newton's law, we know the three laws. First law is that every body has its own inertia. Inertia means when a body is on rest, must be remain at rest. When a body in movement, must be like to be remain in movement, as and when the force is not applied from the outside. When the force is applied, the second law is comes. For as I apply the force, there may be acceleration. The force is always equals to the, or you can say the proportional to the acceleration, and this proportionality is depends on the mass. And for two vehicles, for two movement of body particles, there must be a force is required to make its location from first position to second position, and due to the changes in the position, we require velocity change, and that velocity change makes us the acceleration. The second law tells us the law of motion, or you can say the second law of motion tells us velocity, acceleration, momentum, and force are vector quantity, and these vector quantity tells us the direction of vehicles before collision, direction of particles before collision and after collision. Again, coming to the third law. Third law, we know that every action has its own reaction, always in the equal, always in the equal magnitude and opposite in direction. This tells us what is work. And whenever the accident is there, the work always remains on the spot. Means the skid mark must be there, some friction must be there, there must be some yaw mark between the two vehicles. Before impact and after impact, yaw mark will be there. And these 7 points will easily available at the scene of crime, will easily be explained by a person if he have fundamental concept of physics within his mind. So coming to the next, skid formula or skid marks. You might have seen some skid marks on the road when a vehicle is traveling with a speed, and they have to apply brake. Then the tire and the road have a friction connection, and due to that friction, the tire mark or the tire rubber spreaded some pattern or road pattern. Then this road pattern with the tire marks gives us a definition of skid mark, and the skid mark depends on the vehicle speed. The skid mark depends on the surface of the road. It's a gravel, it's a cemented, or it's a charcoal. Whatever the road is there, the friction coefficient will be different, and the basis of the different friction coefficient length, sorry, friction coefficient length and pavement size, the skid mark will have their own defined length, and the length of the skid mark will easily be useful for analyzing the calculation of the speed of the vehicle. How it is very easy. The velocity of a skid mark, velocity of a vehicle can easily be calculated with this formula: velocity equal to 5.5 into square root of f and d. F means the friction coefficient, D is the distance of the skid marks, and 5.5 is the coefficient to calculate the standard speed of the car. What the skid mark tells us, the skid mark tells us the evidence of braking before crash, friction between the road and the tire, can determine the minimum speed preceding accident, site of incident, evidence of avoidance, and lack of avoidance. These 4 points will easily can be calculated or easily can be observed with the skid mark only. And if you see the skid mark formula, V square equals to root 2 GH is a simple formula. So this is also basic fundamental. When I come to the skid marks of different vehicles, I explain here 6 type of patterns. The first you can see straight skid mark. When the vehicle is driving with a slow speed, then always you will find the front and rear tire imposed to each other. It indicates that the vehicle in a good speed, or you can say in a defined speed, and when the brake is applied on the vehicle, the body of the vehicle is not trembled, means vehicle have standard speed, or you can say low speed when brake is applied. Straight opposite skid marks means the front and rear tires have distinct, means the vehicle have comparatively higher speed, and this higher speed make the body turbulence, and this body turbulence make the skid marks offset. Third, you can see the anti-lock braking system. Anti-lock braking system never been applied directly to the vehicles. It skip with a periodicity, and this due to this periodicity, the body of this vehicle not trembled, or balancing of the vehicle will remain same. If you see the long vehicles, more than 30 feet or more than 20 feet long vehicles, the small brakes are applied. If the vehicles applied heavy brake or direct brake, then the body will tilt it. Otherwise, the bouncing from the backside 2 times, 3 times, and this bouncing will come with the periodicity of a sequence of applying brake. The gap, or you can say the pumping brakes, the longer brakes, the good drivers of heavy road or good drivers on the highway 6 lanes, applying the pumping brakes, which provides the vehicle without imbalancing with high speeds. In electrical, this is applied. And the last, you can see the impact skid mark. If the vehicle is driving with a speed and collide with the vehicle or with the wall or with any object, then it will have initial skid mark before, and after there you can see a change in the skid mark, which is tells us the impact where the vehicle collide with another one, and this impact tells us the story of the possibility of accident. Basic physics regarding to crime scene reconstructions or accident reconstruction. Where I reach at the scene of crime where I found a vehicle, I must take the photograph of vehicle from all angles, or you can say from the 4 angles, draw it, measure it, interview the witnesses if someone survived, check the log of the vehicle documents, all the documents which is available in the vehicle or not, and whether document and road condition are equal or not. Then coming to the parameters, these are the parameters which we observe at the scene of crime, and this is very important. If the two vehicles, you can see from the back side, from the upper side, there are two vehicles I made with plus signs and collided. After collision, I have sent 2 blue arrows. One arrow is the another direction, and one in the point of rest, I can say. Both the vehicles before collision or after collision, I have skid marks and yaw mark. The first vehicle collide with another one. Both have different directions. And in our 10th or 12th class, we have heard about inelastic collision. M1 U1 plus M1 U2, M2 U2 equals to M1 V1 plus M2 V2 is the standard elastic collision vehicle. When I have a collision with an angle, then it comes in the inelastic collision. And this is an angle based collision, always in a real life accidents. And if you find both the vehicle at the scene of crime, which is very rare, we found both the vehicles at scene of crime. We find the first or second vehicle or the spot, one is run away. After 10 or 20 days, the police calls us, sir, ye gaadi mila hai. Again, examine that. So, first of all, when I reach at the scene of crime, I just calculate the point of impact where both the vehicles collide. When I see the point of impact and the skid marks before collision, I will easily evaluate, or I may easily evaluate which vehicle was having his own fault with the speed, with the direction, or with the, you can say, improper driving skills. It may be due to drinking, it may be due to some light, some signals, it may be happen. But the first and foremost, the vehicle speed. And this vehicle can control the vehicle with this particular speed is the most observable point. Second, we found the area where the collision happens. We find debris of both the vehicles. We find some broken pieces of both the vehicle. After collision, we have found the conditions of vehicle after yaw mark or the point of rest. If I observe these 7 points on a scene of crime or accident, I can easily analyze which vehicle have more fault at the scene of crime. Coming to the analysis of collision, if you see in India, these are the 12 pattern and 10 pattern I designed here. First, you can say single motor vehicle is driving, imbalancing, tire bursting, brake failure, the accident happens. Second, head-on collision, both the vehicles come from opposite side and collides. Second, head-on with left turn. Third, you can see with angle on the turn, on the sharp turn, without, you can say blind sharp turn, you will find this angle collision. Sometime on the houses, on the parking, we doing baking our vehicle, we found collision. A rear end collision, one vehicle is stopped and second coming with the high speed and collide from the rear end. Rear end with left turn from when the vehicle speed from the back side is heavy. A rear end right turn is when immediately a vehicle turns in the different direction and the rear vehicle have higher speed then collides. Side wipe, some direction it is happens with small vehicles and heavy vehicles generally, and small side wipe opposite directions always happens with the heavy speed of a vehicle which is coming from the other direction. And last two, the police calls forensic science, other and unknown. Whenever the crime scene is other than these 10 examples, the police calls forensic experts, or 99% in unknown cases they calls us. Otherwise, police do not call in crime cases uh, till it is not a very tough for them to analyze what might happen. So as I told you, the momentum M1V1 formula. So for a collision where before collision and after collision impact is there, due to both vehicles impact, there is an angle, and that angle before collision and after collision I have defined it theta 1 and theta 2, and after collision theta 1 dash and theta 2 dash, and v1 and v2 initial velocity of both the vehicles can be calculated on the following 6 points: the point of impact, the point of impact, pre-collision angle of each vehicle, post-collision angle of each vehicle, weights of each vehicle, position or post-collision velocity. If there you can find one vehicle is running till or after accident, you can calculate the velocity of both the vehicle at initial level. On the basis of that initial velocities, we can calculate other parameters also. And this I have the slide which I have explained is available in the literature of vehicular accident investigation reconstruction, Crick's book and Frank's book, and in the tire trademarks analysis of Zodiac book. So any one of you need these 3 books, I have in my library with PDF. I can share you. Just mail me. All the things I have explained, I can explain with an example. Very simple and very basic parameter we have observed. I have explained the speed of the Audi car and a police constable aspirant killed in a road accident. This accident was happened at morning 6:30. My slide is visible. So
Yes, sir.
thank you. I just reconfirming because sometimes we use more data slides than it sometimes missing. So if you can see the lowest one, 100 मीटर रफ्तार से लग्जरी कार में पैदल युवक को रौंदा and 150 feet घसीटा, पैर कटा, and then 70 feet दूर छत पर जा गिरा. If you see the red drops 1, 2 and 3, this collision was happen on the first red. The body become itself a projectile, collide on a chadar of metallic chadar. We found their blood, and after collision there is a third location of red drop. There the body of the victim found, and the condition of that body was shown in the second photograph. You can see one leg is completely crushed and missing. What happened in this case? You can see the photograph again. This is the first location where the collide. Second location उछल कर टकराया. and जहाँ पर छित पर गिरा वो छत ये है. All the three, how it is possible? The police and the persons have make some query how it might happen, and we reach at the scene of crime. I found that the car was Audi Q6, and we have calculated the speed, and on the basis of that speed, I prove that the body get the momentum of uh, almost 130 kilometer per second, 130 feet per second impact, and 132 per, feet per second impact gives the body acceleration from 0 to 132 feet per second, and this 132 feet per second comes with the calculation of vehicle speed using V2, and V2 is just like comes as 110 or 115 kilometer per hour. So we reported more than 100 kilometer of the speed was vehicle having while accidenting. And if you see the second photograph, you can see the vehicle condition where it collides. You can see the wall where these two ladies were driving the car. This gray color jacket lady was driving the car in the morning, and they are going for you can say gym or morning walk. I think. This is the reconstruction of crime scene. Many of cases related to accidents we have explained about. I have visited about 1200 cases, and out of 1200, I have reconstructed more than 200 cases. And in these reconstruction cases regarding to fallen of height, I'm just explaining the free fall of physics. Regarding to the reconstruction of road accidents, it is always very easy if you have both the vehicles at the spot. It is very tough when both the vehicles are not at the spot. And in India, we are not have a single vehicle on the road available because we have a big traffic. Just after collision, the police and the law and order teams and the system always requires eight earliest the vehicle can be removed from the spot so that the vehicle can travel and the road may not be stopped, or you can say the traffic may not be jammed. So in that conditions, in that scenarios, we always reconstruct. We always have to reconstruct the location. We always have to reconstruct the vehicles, and on the basis of our basic fundamental physics, we are capable to reevaluate, re-examine, and reconstruct the scene of crime. Again, coming to the basic free fall analysis, why we need and why I studied this in 2022. One person jumped in the MNIT campus from sixth floor and had committed suicide. I am saying that he committed suicide, but when I come to know that it was not a suicide, the pupil says there is not a suicide, so किसी ने धक्का दिया है. The parents, the family are claiming it कि हमारे बच्चे को मार दिया, हमारा बच्चा बहुत सीधा था, ये था, वो था. From that, they are coming from Bengal, or they are complaining that our child was very nice fellow and he did not do like that. ये वो. When I reached at the scene of crime, I started to study how to calculate the fall of height from a person jump or thrown from the backside. I studied some literature, which is very basic of physics, or you can say forensic physics. Fall from height in 2008. This is a paper. That is second one. You can see fall from height pattern of injuries in 2015, and second horizontal distance and height determining falling pattern. This was published in I think more earlier from this, and 1998. These three papers supported me to analyze a fall of height of a person, and on the basis of these research, I evaluate 4 crime scenes on the basis of fall of height, and 3 were suicide, 1 was murder. And latestly, last year, 2025, we did it at MN. You know, heard about Manipal University in Jaipur, and I have calculated the Manipal University case, and that was also suicide. So Manipal case was not been published in news, and the MNIT case was not also been published in news because it is related to some integrity of the students and children and colleges. So I am not going to show any photograph related to that, but I explain you the how I calculated first and second case. If you see the trajectory calculation, Suppose that a person lands on horizontal, this is available in the literature also, but I have done it. So suppose that a person lands on a horizontal distance of 9 meters from a building after falling from a height of 30 meters. 30 meter means you can say about 90 feet. 90 feet means you can say almost 8 to 10 floors. The fall time of that person is almost 2 to 3 seconds only, and the horizontal launch of the person at the particular speed is 3.64 meter per second. If the only possible launch can narrowing the ledges below can open window, could a person jump from a standing start, dive, or pushed or thrown through the window at the speed? This is the question. And to answer the question, we have used this formula which was published in this first paper, which I have told you, fall from the height, 2008 paper. And from this formula, we can calculate the distance and the launching speed and the height of a person with an angle. And when a person run up and jump from a particular height, it has its own velocity v0, it has its own angle with theta 0, and jump at a particular landing distance. D is the distance, h is the height, theta 0 is the angle, and v0 is the velocity. On the basis of these parameter, we started with 0 degree to 45 degree and calculated it. And our trajectory comes with 30 degree angle. He jumped means there was no any uh, throwing or back support, or you can say backup, or a back person have thrown him from a particular height. This was a pure calculation based analysis, and we have resultive analysis we give on the basis of this formula. Secondly, the second paper, if you see, I just calculated this one also. This is the last one, horizontal distance and height determining falling pattern. This we used in the latest case of MNIT, where I calculate the impact point, how this person jumps. So he do not walk, he do not run, but when he jump from that particular location, he doubled his distance. How he doubled his distance? He used some, you can say, horizontal velocity to make it more speedy, or to make it more speedy, he used higher angle. For this higher angle, the maximum possible angle is 45 degree. I calculate the maximum possible angle of this height with the 45 degree. Then I start with very basics. X equals to V0 cos theta into T. Y equals to V0 sin theta into T minus 1 of half GT square. This is very basic. You can say the displacement of a person at an angle with velocity. It is very simple calculation. On the basis of this, we calculate the angle. On the basis of this, we calculate the initial velocity, and calculating this initial velocity for this particular boy from Manipal University campus, he thrown or he jumped. The distance which is showing at impact point was almost equalized or similar, and on the basis of this parameter we prove that this person committed suicide. And they, in their literature or in their research paper, they also published the angle with respect to the distance. If you see the height of 0, 10, minus 20 means this is the 100-meter distance they have calculated in a person jump. When a person jumps with the standard height, standing jump, it has the velocity of 2.7 meter per second. When a person running with a speed height, the maximum distance and maximum velocity he get 9.15 meter per second, and the body of this person moves from 10 meter to 40 meter if he has a speed. Okay, and we found the body about 9 meter 7.8 second. So we can say he was jumped from that particular location when the angle is 45 degree. So these cases or these parameter, purely physics based analysis, fundamental physics, not a very big physics we use here, only the law of Newton's you can say basic motion equations of Newton's law, uv plus rbt, v equals to u plus rbt, s equals to ut plus rgt square, and u square u square plus 2as. These three formulas we have used for this, and we know that where the angle is there, then we know the component of sine theta and cos theta for the angle, and the component of sine theta and cos theta comes when the body moving from a linear path to a projectile path. Coming to the third most applicable point of basic physics, which blood spectrum analysis. Earlier, it was used by biological and physiological experts. We are doing that blood pattern analysis, but with some time, with some physicists, some forensic physicists working on that, and even me myself, analyzing the scene of crime with blood spectrum analysis, the case was solved, and some evidences we always found to evaluate the reconstruction of encounter cases, to evaluate the person who has committed with a firearm suicide, the person who is using firearm to commit suicide, always have a blood splatter, and this blood splatter provide us the direction of fire, uh, pool of blood, blood pattern, angle of blood, and origin of collision, or you can say origin of uh, blood started from where it has started. This can be easily calculated with the basic fundamental mathematics and physics. This was published in 2019, I think. This paper was published in 2019, Biophysics and Features of Physics, that the physics of blood spectrum. In forensic physics world, IOP journal is this. This is one of the best physics journals, and this is a magazine. And if a person is running and have an injury on his neck or in his head, the trajectory firearm from the backside of the body, the blood stains go drop there, and the trajectory of this particular red dotted can easily be seen. And if I analyzing this, I found the blood spatter on the red spots, one red dot, and the last stain was in the drop edge stain we have written on the floor. So describing the control variable with this initial velocity and angle, the trajectory of blood can easily be calculated with the formula sine alpha or sine theta equals to W upon L of the E, and this is the round circle of blood. The width W is stand for the width, and L is the stand with the length of that particular blood drop. And on the basis of this blood drop, we can calculate the angle of projection or angle of trajectory of that particular blood drop, and how this angle comes with the distance. The distance is calculated on the basis of under root of L and W, length and width, and on the basis of this L D, we can calculate the distance on the floor of a person where he was or she was standing when the firearm, the blood spatter was happened. The Blaisdell it's very simple. If you can see, sine theta equals to double upon L. W is what the width of the drop, and L is the length of the drop. That four photographs A, B, C, D shows that non-perpendicular impact from a height of 0.8 meter. 0.8 meter height means you can say 2.5 feet. At a several angle of theta equals to 80 degree, theta equals to 60 degree, theta equals to 40 degree, and theta equals to 20 degree. You can see the drop pattern, and the drop pattern itself shows the angle. The drop tails always defined as the direction of you can say the direction of projectile, which direction it is coming from. It always opposes the movement of the body. So the tails always tails of a blood stain always give you the direction of impact on the spot. Geometry of blood spatter, it is very easily can be determined. If an actual point there is a black, I show you the blue lines, and due to impact, the blood splatters places on different places, and by giving them tangent, or you can say by drawing a tangent on the blood drop, I will find straight lines trajectory, and the eject line trajectory have always an higher point comparing to the original point or actual point. And the origin of point, which always the person is standing there, and I draw the lines between the blue lines and the drops, I will found the actual point of origin on the basis of the height of the person, on the basis of the injury of the person, where the injury he got, where what was the height of the person, and what was the approximation or approximate location where he or she was standing while the case was happening. It is not always true that the firearm calculation straight trajectory are perfectly giving the proper answer due to sometime due to gravity and drag pattern may play an important role, or a forensic person it is very tough, or it is very you can say depend on experience. It is very tough and it is very depend on experience how to calculate the height of a person when we are demonstrating a crime scene and the firearm have been used for a particular distance more than 5 or 10 feet away. The pattern of splices may depend on the area, the gravity, and the height and the body positions while the person is moving or standing at the location while the firearm being used. So it is always a tough task while reconstructing a crime scene when demonstrating a person was moving, and in the 90% of encounter cases we have these issues, and 70% of reconstruction cases we are successfully explain the process of happening, and the concept of blood stain pattern analysis, yeah, blood spatters, we easily found the location of a person while he was or she was shot by a fire. Coming to the last uh, point of today, which I am covering. I can cover about 7 to 10 points of basic physics. Today I am just going to last. This is my last session, and we can say last points for engineering students also. We did. I did my PhD in material science. Even Professor Bhamu has also done the same, but he is very advanced in research now. He become some DFT analysis. He do some computer based analysis, and we still in the material science. So coming to the same topic, uh, forensic science with material and how we can calculate the building collapse. So it comes on the engineering mind now. The civil engineering is there. Civil engineering play a vital role. If you heard about a building was collapse, the structure was failure, and the why the structure was failure. The structure always fail due to the improper occurrence of metal roads that are used, the structure design which was should or be maintained with the metallic beams, and if the beams are not calculated properly, and if they do not use the proper uh, composition of material, cement mortar, density, sand, and metallic rods, and sand space some voids in that particular walls and columns, then the walls and columns may have moisture with a particular time. The cracks will be there, and due to the cracks, the metallic rods, or you can say saria, lohe ka saria will get rusted or corrosive, and due to this corrosiveness, the image you can see in the below side, the blue brokens and the red brokens, and this corrosive nature of metallic saria, the whole building can collapse. And this is keen we calculate with the basis of physics and material science. So structural failures comes with the five basic failures: shear failure, bending failure, compression, tensile strength, foundation, and buckling. The compression, we know what is compression, we know the tensile strength, we know the foundation failures. These are the failures which are part of civil engineering. The civil engineering that teach the building material analysis. In that, there is a particular section type of structural failure. And on the basis of this basic engineering, I just explain you what is shear failure. Shear failure means the occurs loading of a building component exceed bond between the molecules and materials such as strength of connection and member to another. Or you can say the cement, the bricks, the interlocking bricks have some spaces and the proper slabbing is not being used. Second, the bending or flexi failure. When it is happens, when the beams which are not, the columns which are not calculated properly on the basis of what should they have going to use, how many weight they are going to be created for. Means if I created a beam for 200 ton and I use this beam for 500 ton. Then at a particular time being, the column will automatically reversed, or you can say the slabs will be slides, and this due to sliding, changing in the metallic bodies, the crack may happen and failure. Again, compressive failures, we know that the direction of beams are not as properly calculated. The beam have some spaces, and due to that spaces, the cracks will happen. Fourth one is tensile strength. I calculated the column height, the column length with the section, and I took 20 mm area for a 3-story building. It is okay, but I take 10-story building and I use only 30 mm or 20 mm area. Then the metallic surface, the metallic column will not able to sustain all the block on them, and due to that pressure of the height, the pressure of the upper surface, the tensile failure will be there. Other foundation failures, if you are not using the proper columning from the ground level, it happens. Buckling is that the column shifted from their location, extended from the location. And why I am explaining this? This is because of, you can see, 21st January, 26th June, 20th June. These are the people are dying with the city specific reasons. And from 2008 to 2012, the cases are coming all over India. How many persons are died? If you can see, in Mumbai, one injured, one dead, and September. In Mumbai, Nagar, Vikhroli, you can see 26 June. You can see 7 injured, 7 dead in 22nd June. 21st June in Mumbai, you can see Mamra. And you can see the Mahim, 10 people were injured, 6 died. In April 4th, you can see in the 62 injured and 76 died. So why we are going to analyzing this? These are the collapses in analysis of buildings. These are the high impact, or you can say disaster of buildings. Due to this disaster, 5 or 10 people easily comparatively died. In Rajasthan, we analysis three cases. You can see about 24 people died and 28 people were injured in a wedding hall collapsed due to heavy rains in Bharatpur. When I was posted in Bharatpur 2017, it happens. And when I reached at the scene of crime, I found the wall which was used to hide the town hall, or you can say marriage hall. It was continuously made of 20 feet height, without any column, without any metallic rods being used to have this height, about 20 feet. When heavy rain is there, all the people in the marriage party had the shelter of this wall, and due to heavy rain and airflow, the wall collapsed on them. And all the people under that was about 52 people were died and injured. And on the basis of our observation, we suggested the construction of that wall was not properly done, as the not a single metallic rod was found from the foundation to the 20 feet height. The second, this is in the circle I myself shown here, and you can see this is a building where you can say house. One area is collapsed down, and second one is sorry. Second one, you can see I am examining it from the back side, and this is the prima facie location, and 2 persons were died. And the people of this nearby area says, "Sir, यहाँ पर कोई बम धमाका हुआ, and our family persons were died." And due to explosion in a particular Muslim area, it is always a big task for the police and the forensic community to analyze it was a blast or not. I was go there to analyze it was a blast. So explosive study was there, and after seeing the building and removing the bricks from the back side, I show you the photograph. When I remove the bricks from the back side, you can see the cracks, and these are the cracks, or you can say shear frictions. The building have its own washroom in the house only. What they use a room as a washroom. They take bath in this bathroom only, and this is the condition. This is the room where they use bathroom as a room, and this is the room where they sleep. And due to water collimetry, the building continuous absorb the water in the sorry in the uh, cement or in the basis of the building, and you can say the building wall automatically shifted due to soil erosion, and the soil erosion happened due to water in the washroom or bathroom as a room, and this soil erosion create a shifting in the walls, and due to shifting of the walls, the house was collapsed. I proved it, and on the scene of crime, and the case was closed on the basis of a single line that it was not an explosion. Sometimes we have a glass at the scene of crime. Just explain one thing. कि it is generally asked at the scene of crime कि किसने fire पहले किया, and who fired first from the inside the car or outside the car when it is an encounter. And in the forensic, we easily prove that on the basis of crack, on the radial crack, or you can say concentric crack fracture pattern, we can easily prove that which firearm or from which direction the glass was broken first. On the basis of this photograph, you can easily explain which was broken first. When I applied 2 bullets on a glass frame, on a glass window, then there will be two on a single hole. We have concentric lines go around the structure of the firearm. We have circular structures that is called concentric, and we have straight lines which are radial fractures. These radial fractures always comes with the opposition of force which have been applied on the glass. If a vehicle being fired from inside or outside, we have the radial cracks. Another collision or bullet or firearm being used on the same glass, then the another point of impact will not cross the radial fracture of the first one. And you can see the red circles. The second fractures are not crossing the first fracture, which indicates that the right side to me is the first firearm, and left side to me is the second or secondary firearm. So first injury is due to the right side, and second injury is due to the left side of a person being made from the outside to inside, both having same surfaces, but the firearm from both outside, one from the right side and second from the left side. It can be easily demonstrated at the scene of crime to the police, to the IOs, sometimes CBI, sometimes NAI. And I think this is sufficient from my side. You can ask some queries. The session is open for all of you. I just remove these other sides. Thank you very much for all of you to being here.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an insightful and informative session. Your valuable thoughts and practical experiences and expert guidance have certainly broadened our understanding of forensic science. We truly
My
appreciate the time and effort of you have devoted to sharing your knowledge with us. Now we shall begin the Q&A session. Participants who wish to ask questions may either raise their virtual hand or post their question in the chat box.
आप लोग हिंदी में भी पूछ सकते हैं और इंग्लिश में भी पूछ सकते हैं. कई बार अनकंफर्टेबल होता है, और बिल्कुल बेसिक पूछिएगा. कई बार क्या होता है कि बहुत साइंटिफिक क्वेश्चन पूछ लेते हो, मुझे भी नहीं आते. तो आपकी क्यूरी इस तरह से पूछिएगा कि आपको लगे कि आपने कुछ पढ़ा है सेशन में. प्लीज टाइप भी कर सकते हैं आप लोग और पूछ भी सकते हैं, मुझे कोई इशू नहीं. हिंदी एंड इंग्लिश बोथ आर कंफर्टेबल फॉर मी, एंड आई विल प्रीफर इफ यू आस्क समथिंग. थैंक यू.
हाँ भैया नमस्कार.
नमस्कार. ओहो भामू सर, प्रोफेसर साहब
आइए ना, मोदी आइए ना कभी.
जरूर सर, जरूर आऊंगा.
अब तो आपको कनेक्ट करवा दिया, आराम से विजिट करिए, बच्चों को मोटिवेट करिए. क्लासरूम
सर.
सेशन भी आप ले सकते हैं.
श्योर सर, श्योर सर.
है ना
सर.
हाँ, और वो समीर सर ने है ना वो इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं करवाया. आपने जो अपना गामा रे स्पेक्ट्रोमीटर स्टेबलिश किया था कॉम्पटन प्रोवे लेबोरेटरी में, उसकी वजह से आज 40-50 पीएचडी हो चुकी है.
ये सब समय की बात है, निकल गया समय.
कुछ चीजें आपने मिस किया आपके इंट्रोडक्शन में.
नो इश्यू, ये सब समय के साथ. और प्रोफेसर साहब आप कैसे हो? रिसर्च
ठीक है,
सेशन
सर।
पे
सर बाद में बात करते हैं, आप सेशन कंटिन्यू करिए ना।
one question is there, I think. Sorry, one question is there on the track box. Just coming to check box. Yes, sir. Train braking. Yes, train braking system is different. That is always air pressure and air-based brake is there. If you heard about chain pulling, or you can see about when you pull a chain, there is a pressure release. Shoo करके एक आवाज सी आती है. That is not a voice. That is particularly a pressure being built by the engine for all the bogies. And on pulling the chain, it is not that our bogie is going to break out. All the pressures on all the 12 or 15 or 20 bogies are there, have equally pressurized with the engine pressure. And they have a standard, you can say, cumulative speed. This cumulative speed being stopped with using the train braking system. And whenever the train gets slow speed or have a big speed, you will find, or you will observe on the turn, on the curve, the train get release some pressure within some air. And that pressure of air being calculated for the train braking system. Sir, I think I satisfy your query, sir. Any query more?
I don't think for the time being we have any other query. If there will be any of those, we'll mail you, sir.
Please,
Or we'll connect.
please, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today.
Same here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Now I am log out myself.
Yes, sir, sure. We are just closing it.
Thank you.
With this, we come to end of the technical session. We sincerely thank our esteemed speaker, Dr. Shalu Malik and Dr. Mukesh Sharma, for sharing their valuable knowledge and practical insight and real-world experiences in the field of crime scene investigation and forensic toxicology. We will continue with more exciting sessions, hands-on demonstration, and advanced concepts that will further enhance our understanding and practical skills in the field of forensic science on Monday. On the behalf of the Department of Forensic Science, School of Liberal Arts and Sciences, Modi University of Science and Technology, thank you all for being us with today. We wish you a pleasant evening and look forward to welcoming you back on Monday. Thank you.